Welcome to Getting It Done, a podcast about music, education, and life lessons. I'm your host, Tim Rausenberger. Today is a rainy Thursday, October 3rd, 2019. This is episode 318, Coaching and Mentoring, an Open Forum. Well, hello to everyone out there, and great to see all of you out there on this first Thursday evening of October 2019. It has been a rather disgusting day here in New Jersey. The traffic was horrific. The weather was worse, but I can't really complain, and I shouldn't complain, and I will not be negative because we have been very, very blessed in New Jersey for sure with our weather. Our weather actually has been spectacular for the past month, 6 weeks or so. We really have not had too many things to complain about. Matter of fact, the weather has actually been downright terrific. We've had a lot of sun, a little bit more humidity, I think, than any of us would really care for, but I think we'll certainly take it. Last night, my students found out the hard way what happens when you have a very, very big rehearsal in anticipation for a very, very big event, and you have a lot of rain, and that's what happened last night. But we trudge on as 'twere and learn as we're going to learn tonight as we have tonight's episode, and we talk about different ways of being able to improve your life and be able to incorporate many different components of music and education and various different life lessons into your own personal situations. So it's great to see all of you here tonight. I see Esther is here as always. I see that Charlize is back. Hello to Charlize. Charlize, it's a very quick reminder to Charlize to make sure to get in touch with me about your gift card from last week. I don't think I heard from you, but if you did reach out, please make sure to do so. As I will put here once again, to make sure if you do want to reach out to me at any time for any reason in terms of anything having to do with coaching, mentoring, tutoring, speaking, any type of public speaking engagements or workshops, clinics, or if you just need to just reach out and say hello, the place to do it is the Getting It Done podcast at gmail.com email address. So getting it done podcast at gmail.com. The other way, of course, you can reach out and you can find a multitude of ways of finding me at gettingitdone.us. That is not the right thing. That would be girding it done. And we do not want to gird it done. That's not happening. We want to get it done. There you go. And you'll know that it's correct when you see that it's highlighted. I see it. I don't know if you see it as red or you see it as orange, but there you go. So gettingitdone.us is another great way of getting a hold of me. You can also, of course, find me on Facebook. If you go onto Facebook and you type in Getting It Done, we will girding it. Thank you very much, Charlize. I knew you'd jump on that. If you type in Getting It Done, you type in my name, and then magically, poof, I appear, and you can reach out to me at any given time. I have a messenger through Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer your questions at any given time. Thank you very much, Watermelon Duck. I'm glad that you enjoy favorite. I like that you threw the "you" in there. Thank you. I did note that. And Esther, we do appreciate your opinions. Thank you very much. I'm sure that, Esther, you have some fantastic ways of being able to communicate with others on social media with some other amazing, incredible outlets that I would never use if you paid me large sums of cash. Would never, ever happen in a million years. So we will just continue to get it done here. And it's again great to see all of you here tonight. So hello to Jessica. Jessica, good to see you here tonight. Very, very nice. I see that we're calling out people here, and apparently Facebook is dangerous. So I'm not sure what's going on. Told by a teacher, a dangerous site. So yes, I am a very shameful person. I do feel very, very shameful tonight. So so tonight is really, it's, for lack of a better word, it's your night. This is me just coming on tonight. I do so many different topics where I'm steering the conversation. I am trying to keep things in a very, very specific realm, but tonight's going to be a lot different, where your questions and ones that I've received, I've received in the past month, 2 months or so, are going to steer the discussion for tonight. The more questions you're able to ask, the more things that you're curious to know, whether it has to do with others, whether it has to do with yourself personally. Please feel free to put your questions in here. As soon as the questions start off on the side here, I will start addressing them immediately as soon as your questions come through. They really can range on a wide variety of topics. So I had various questions that I had put into the description as ones that you may want to think about. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of those questions and copy, paste them into the chat, and this will hopefully help you out and get your mind rolling here, and we can have really just a wonderful evening together, as we always do on Thursday nights. So one question may very simply be, do you have a music related question? It can be literally anything at all. I am always open, and I, of course, that's my number one passion, is anything relating to music. So, for instance, and I'll get to Jessica's question in just a moment. An example of a lesson that I taught today, which was a lot of fun. If you tune into, cheap plug here, episode 312, which has to do with the 5 elements of music. I actually taught those today to a few classes. And in the process of doing so, after we went through melody, harmony, form, rhythm, and tone color, when we discussed those 5 elements, I then applied them to the pentatonics evolution of music video, in which just before the video shifts from black and white to color, right in the 1960s, they do their own cover of Stand By Me by Ben E. King. Well, I found, I don't know, it took a long time to finally get a video of him from the 1960s, where it's a black and white video of Benny King. He's just sitting very casually and singing. It's a beautifully produced video. It was remastered. And I played that for the students. They got very, very excited. I found it fascinating that a song that was 60 years old, that they were able to, they knew the words, they knew the song inside out. And then it finally dawned on them, wow, I have heard this song over and over. There is an outstanding cover that has been done. I think in many ways it rivals the Ben E. King original, and that is by a Hispanic singer. Prince Royce is his name, and his cover of Stand By Me is a combination of English and Spanish, When I put that on, my students went completely crazy. They were shocked that I had bachata music on. And one day I'll be able to say bachata. I'm going to type that in the chat here. And you can say it out loud. I'm sorry that I won't be able to hear you right now, but I will do my best, and hopefully one day I won't butcher the Spanish language. But it was a really exciting lesson, and going back and forth between the three different versions: the pentatonics, and then Benny King, and then the Prince Royce. And no, we did not eat any empanadas, but I do appreciate that. I always can go for a nice pollo empanada. So there we go. All right. So we had that question. That's a possibility. I'm just throwing out some things right now, and I'm going to absolutely hit all of your questions. So that was one. Do you have any music related questions? Actually, you know what I think we're going to do? Let's see. Let's see what I have here. We have Esther asking a music question. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. Let me answer these questions because these questions are actually all related to music, and we'll do that first. Then maybe we can kind of steer discussion. And you know why? Because guess who produces the show? Yeah, moi. So because of that, I can make things adaptable to the audience here. So let's just have at it here and let's see what we have. So Jessica starts off by asking, are there any popular music artists you have recently discovered who you enjoy? To be perfectly truthful, perfectly honest, I have not. Tend to find a lot of my popular artists based on the information provided me by my students. I almost never listen to new music that comes out, and I really don't, because I think that a lot of it is lousy. I'm sorry to have to be that blunt about it, but I think that a lot of the music that's being produced in 2019, a lot of things that have come out in recent years just have not been of the highest quality. Now, that's not everything. I would say, generally speaking, at least 95% of the music out there, I would just leave it off to the side. I have really no interest at all. And I'm not speaking about groups that are out of the mainstream. If I think about My Chemical Romance, a terrific group, that's totally and entirely different. I have been on of late. I've been on a folk music kick, and it's kind of been this. I'll actually give you my playlist that I have going on right now. Maybe I can actually probably even show it right here. Let's take a look. I'm gonna get my Spotify. We got Spotify Premium. We had to do that, so I might be able to do this. Let's see. I think I can. Let's see how well this shows on here. I can show you exactly what I've been listening to. Yeah, you can probably see it actually. Okay, so this is what I've been listening to on the way to school lately. So maybe just put it right up here like this. Okay. All right. Hang on a minute here. Okay. All right. So we have Cecilia, and Cecilia is by Simon and Garfunkel. Cecilia is awesome. It is just a lot of fun. It's got tons and tons of percussion in it. We also have The Boxer. The Boxer is also by Simon and Garfunkel. It utilizes a bass harmonica. I mean, just so cool. We also have Vincent, of course, by the legendary Don McLean. I apologize that I'm so shaky here. Let me see if I can get that so it's a little more stable here. Let's see that. There we go. Sorry, guys. Okay. And I Love You So, also by Don McLean. That's just another terrific ballad. Crying, another ballad by Don McLean. And then I went through this Sound of Silence deal here, where we have one by Simon and Garfunkel. And then, of course, the one that's received a gazillion views by Disturbed. So that one, The Sound of Silence. Moving along here, if I scroll down the list a bit more, I have Mrs. Robinson, also by Simon and Garfunkel. Again, this is just very light stuff that I've just been enjoying lately. Your Song by Elton John. That's just a beautiful tune. Imagine, the classic by John Lennon. And that's not a cover, that's actually Lennon himself. I'm just trying to look at the phone. I'm really struggling here tonight. Okay, Graceland by Paul Simon. The entire album by Paul Simon, Graceland, is awesome. I Walk the Line by country singer Johnny Cash. I am not a country music fan. I am a Johnny Cash fan. He is totally and completely the man. I Walk the Line. And I'll tell you a little bit about Walk the Line in just a second. And then A Song for You. You may be familiar with the musical savant who won America's Got Talent, Cody Lee. Well, this was the song that he sang in his opening audition, A Song for You. But the original artist, his name is Donny Hathaway. And Donny Hathaway is, wow, he is quite a singer. Justin Timberlake has actually even gone on record, quite an artist in his own right. He's even gone on record saying that Donny Hathaway is the greatest singer who ever lived. That's a pretty big compliment. Apparently all my music. Let's see what happened here. So I guess my Bluetooth speaker decided to take over. Bluetooth speaker is possessed here tonight. So at any rate, we don't want to put that type of stuff on because unfortunately this whole thing gets flagged and I'm not in the mood for that type of nonsense. So at any rate, I want to tell you a little bit about I Walk the Line. I think that anybody who's serious about singing should study it. And I'm going to tell you why. I Walk the Line by Johnny Cash it seems like the simplest song ever. It is so difficult to sing because you have to have the most massive vocal range, huge vocal range. Because what Cash does is he has the song and he has several different versions he's done, but what he does is he'll start it with his where his voice is probably most comfortable in his baritone register, and then he moves up into more of a tenor type of sound, and then he gets a little more bassy, and then he goes way into the basement. I mean, he goes down there, and it's so cool because it's so clear and it's so concise, so crisp. And you can't believe that someone who got such beautiful, beautiful tenor tones that just a matter of seconds later is singing way down in low bass basement territory. I highly recommend. It's not a long tune, but it's a great tune, and it's not one of those types of tunes. It's really not your traditional, for lack of a better word, country tunes. I don't really ever think of it as being a country tune. I just think of it for its vocal beauty. So that's my playlist. That's what I have kind of going on right now. So popular music artists, no. I decided to go with classics that I already have. So let's see what else we have here. Esther asks, how do you balance your voice when singing? I'm not really completely understanding that question in terms of balancing your voice. It depends on balancing your voice. Are you talking about balancing in relation to background music? That's something obviously as easy as adjusting the volume. But in terms of balancing your voice, I think one thing, I'm not sure if Esther's referring to this or not, but it's finding the register that's going to work the best for your voice. When you are a singer, there are certain keys that are going to work better than others. So, for instance, Sound of Silence by Disturbed. I have tried to, I've attempted to replicate the Disturbed version of Sound of Silence. And when I try to do it in his key, it doesn't quite work as well for me. What I found I had to do is I had to actually drop it a whole step. When I dropped it a whole step, it was a little bit taxing down low, but I was able to give a much better rendition. And that was just me. Now, there are people who have to make those types of adjustments based on whatever you were dealt. I mean, we're all dealt the vocal cords that we have and the entire vocal apparatus. try to stretch things out as much as we want, but the reality is you are who you are, and you should not be singing like someone you aren't. That's really, really important, because you can mess up your voice very, very badly and have a myriad of vocal issues that you may be causing and not even realize it. So really key that you're finding things that you're comfortable singing, that you enjoy singing, and are not putting undue strain or stress on your vocal cords. Watermelon duck, how do you know you're in tune? This is a super easy question. Okay, you're going to know you're in tune. And if you do it in relation to two different instruments, if you just take it with two instruments, you play your note and the other person holds their note. If you just take the two notes, if they come together and they sound like one person, you're in tune. If they don't, and you're playing, and obviously I can't do it because I'm another person here, but if you're getting this wah, 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 you get a little bit of that wave thing going on. It might be a little bit of a wave, wah, 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 or it might be wah, wah. If you get that going on when you go to make the sound, somebody's out of tune. It could be that it all depends on how you're looking at things. It depends on is one person in tune in relation to what in tune is supposed to be, which would be on a tuner A equals 440, which has to do with the sound waves and what is universally accepted as being in tune. In other countries, you of course have other types of requirements where A might equal 442 or A might equal 438. I'm not going to get into a long-winded discussion about what all that is. That's a very Googleable, just made up that word, a Googleable term. You can look up A440, A442, 438, what the differences are between them. What I can tell you though, Duck, is that if you go to play with someone else and when you're playing and you get that wobble type of sound, someone's out of tune. Could be you, could be the other person, but someone needs to make an adjustment. They may need to make their pitch higher, maybe need to make their pitch lower. That happens very frequently with me. The trumpet that I play on is one where my tuning slide, I have it out a lot. And sometimes when I will be teaching students, I sometimes have to make severe adjustments with my tuning slide to adapt to them, or sometimes I make them adapt to me. All right, so there's your answer with that. Okay, Charlize, how would you teach a percussionist to shift to a drum set? Okay, so if you're going to go to drum sets, it's very drum set. You are now straight up multitasking and you're doing a lot of different things. So if you're going to start playing drum set, what I would say is to work on one particular piece of the kit and focus just on that piece. So it could be just as simple as just establishing your foot with the foot pedal that's going into the bass drum. So just boom, 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 and just doing that over and over and just making sure that you're able to do that. Now, I'd go one step further. I do something a little bit different because I am different and I teach in sometimes an unorthodox style, which has worked for me a lot of my career. But, a lot of times what kids will do, and what people will do, is they will try to throw too many things all at once to people. What I would say to do is to start off by doing the kick bass and just keep that going. Boom, 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 and keep on doing it like I'm doing right now. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay. And I'm going to keep on doing that, but I'm going to continue to have what I hope to have anyway, a coherent discussion with you. Okay. Not just speaking into the microphone like this as I keep my foot steady. I'm now forcing my brain to do two different things at the same time. So I'm keeping that steady beat and I'm having a conversation with you at the same time. Now, if you want to go one step further, I'm actually technically not having a conversation with you. I'm just speaking into a microphone. And If I were having an actual discussion with someone, that would make things even more challenging to be able to respond to things that they're saying. Now, of course, I can do that in the chat if I wanted to right now. That's totally completely fine. But if I decided to add one more thing, now it's getting a little more challenging, because what I'm doing is I'm doing the kick bass and I'm snapping my fingers, and I'm also needing to have a discussion with the person at the same time. Now, when we're doing all of those different things, you are strengthening so many different parts of your brain, for starters, because to be able to play the drum set well, you have to have something going on up here. You can't have rocks up in your brain, and you got to develop those brain cells to get things really going. So I would certainly start with the the bass drum, and then you can certainly play around a little bit with the hi-hat, maybe just a simple, you're keeping the beat, so you can just do boom tap boom tap boom tap boom tap, or boom tap boom tap tap. Very, very simple things. Master the simple things first, and then progressively get more difficult. Too many kids, they're trying to go all at it, and they're trying to hit every single drum. That's silly, completely ridiculous, and you don't get anywhere at all. That's the way that you want to go about it. So there's your answer that in terms of shifting. It's not easy to do, but if you stick to it, and by the way, there's so many videos online, you're not going to go wrong. Even a bad drum set video, you're still going to be able to learn something from it. So, okay. Watermelon Duck also asks, how do you know when singing if you're hitting the right note, like making sure that the note is the right pitch and not too flat or sharp? Well, I mean, one thing, of course, you can do is you can have a tuner in front of you when you're doing it, but that's a fascinating question. I can't tell you how many singers don't listen to themselves. There are so many singers who think that they're singing spot on, and they believe in their minds that they are the real deal. Let me tell you something. No one on earth, no one wants to listen to someone who's singing out of tune. Playing an instrument out of tune is bad enough, but singing out of tune, that's painful. That's the type of thing that shifts vertebrae in the back. I mean, that is so painful. And it's even worse when you have someone who claims to be, or thinks in their mind that they are so experienced and they've got it down, and they're consistently singing a quarter tone flat, a quarter tone sharp. It's very simple. The proof is in the pudding. You record yourself and you play it back, and you say to yourself, am I enjoying that, or am I cringing? This happened recently. We had a situation at our school where we did a video of a performance, and one of the students in the ensemble was grossly out of tune. Everybody could hear it. The student was able to hear it, and the student was somewhat embarrassed, but you can't do anything about it. At least the student knew, and it was good, because I've had situations before where the student will say, oh no, it sounded perfectly fine. And it's even worse when there are other people who might be friends or family members who say, oh, the kid sounds great, and they don't know. And I've had that happen before. I'll have kids that I've tutored before who are just they think they're ready for the big time, and they're clueless. They're awful, and their parents may think otherwise, and that's a big problem. It's a very, very big problem, especially when people are in denial and they're being told by experts in the field that they don't have it, or they need to work on it. People don't like to be told those types of things, especially if they have in their mind that they are the next coming. And it is what it is. That also falls under the lines of that they may have also grown up and they were never told that they were wrong about anything, and they may have had a privileged, entitled type of upbringing. So, but that's something totally separate topic that we might delve into tonight. Okay. Okay. Charlie says it's hard for me to play more parts at once. How would I teach it? So I did mention that. Let me just see any other types of questions here related to music. I've been speaking this whole time here. Let's see. Jessica, I'm so glad that you love the Donny Hathaway tune. It's just amazing. Totally, totally amazing. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Okay. So we have Mabel's. I don't know what this name is. Okay. We're just going to go with Mabel. I recognize you as Mabel. Okay. So, is there a difference between singing normally and singing with an achy throat? How badly? Well, there's going to certainly be a difference. I, Mabel, here's what I would say to that. It took me quite some time to start to understand, for me personally, uh, what my normal singing voice was and how strong my singing voice was on any given day. For instance, during this time of year, and I cannot stress it enough, for all singers, you have to get sleep. You must get sleep. Your body needs it. Your vocal cords really need it. The vocal cords need to be hydrated. They need that. They may need some type of steam, but they absolutely, absolutely must be well rested. As a rule, when I wake up in the morning, for the first hour to hour and a half, I do next to no talking. I just don't. And I try to do as little as I can at night. I've been finding more and more that the more talking I do later in the evening, the worse off my voice is the next day, because it's just overuse. And it's not singing either, it's the speaking too. Every single time that you're making a sound, your vocal folds are doing something, and they're working very, very hard, and you need to take care of them. So if you are not in your best health, then you should be doing almost no talking at all, no singing. So then, if you do have an audition or you have something important where you're going to need the voice, you need to preserve it, take care of it, treat it like a baby, and then use it whenever you need to, and then back off. Uh, I have just found, I know certain things with me. If I am going to have any type of major performance ahead of me, I know that I positively cannot have any alcohol within 24 hours. I can't. There's something about, for me personally, when I drink alcohol within a 24-hour time frame, I almost never drink anyway, but if I do have any alcohol, it just it I don't know if I don't want to misspeak here. It seems like the vocal cords get a little bit inflamed, and they don't respond very well to alcohol for me. Now, that is my singing voice. And again, the overuse, I try, if I'm going to have a big performance of some type where I'm going to be doing a lot of singing, I just try to keep the speaking to a minimum and as much rest as humanly possible. Now, listen, this is the swig. Okay, I got my beet green juice going on here, and this is always used. This is 24/7. And I hope that honestly, this actually does teach a lot of you a lesson, because if you notice, and I have no shame, I don't understand, people will do these talk shows and they don't have any water, and they'll be on stage and they're doing performances and they don't have any water. I don't get it. I never understand it. When I leave for work, wherever I'm going to be working for the day, whether it's within my school district or anywhere else, I have obscene amounts of water with me every single day. This has been for years. It's been for a decade that I have obscene amounts of water with me. I have easily, on any given day, a bare minimum of 100 ounces of cold to cool water. It's got to be there. Yet you have to take. That's how you take care of things. And the more hydrated I've been, the better my voice has been to me. The one thing that you just can't get around is especially illness, and when you're not taking care of yourself and you're not taking care of your health. So, okay. So that answered all of those things here. So let's throw out a few more possible things that we can talk about here. Let's go into this is a good one. This was one that I actually had a few students that mentioned this to me, and they asked me. Um, I'm just going to throw a few different things here. And what I'm looking for is not necessarily yes or no answers to these questions I'm throwing out. Rather, I'm looking for you to ask me questions based on whatever your particular situation is. So, for instance, this question here: are you having major issues that prevent you from concentrating? Another one that you can think about is: are you unsure about your current or future career? Are you in a career right now where you are just straight up unhappy and you're looking to make some type of a change? I've done this in my life. I've made major changes with my career. I'm still making changes. I still have I have a lot of different thoughts of things that I would like to do. I have not gone on record with all of them, of the different things I would like to do in the future. Certainly, I have been uh, contracted for more speaking engagements, which is extremely exciting for me. And I have been in contact with multiple colleges, which is also very, very exciting. The opportunity to be able to potentially work with college students and people who are just this close to entering the workforce, particularly in education and more specifically music education. Uh, Other types of questions: what are your fears? It's a pretty uh, basic thing. And again, uh, the idea is to throw the question out there, and then can you come up with something that you can throw back at me, a question of your own based on that question. How can I use music in my career? And another one, which could get a little more personal, but are you at a crossroads in your life? And people experience crossroads in their lives at various points. You don't have to. I think people think you have to be an adult to be experiencing a crossroads, and I don't think that's true at all. I think that you can experience it at a lot of ages. I don't think when you're 7. I don't know about that, but I think when you're a teenager, I think it's trying to figure out the types of decisions that you want to make and the direction that you would like to go in your life. I think that's a really, really big deal and something to certainly think about. How can you use music in your career? Well, music's everywhere, and I think that that is lost, unfortunately, on society, and I don't know why. I wish I had an answer for that as to why there are so many people out there who uh, they're so quick to dismiss music, yet music is everywhere. And I do these lessons in school, and it blows the minds of children who they can't believe how much they're missing in their music. I'd spoken at the beginning of the podcast about the tune by Ben E. King, Stand By Me, and we analyzed the different covers, the two different covers, and then his original version, discussed all the different instruments, and it blew their minds when they realized how many things they were missing. And what is it that makes the music sound the way that it does? Are there specific issues that you're having that prevent you from being able to concentrate at any given time? Those that's a big deal. And I find that there are a lot of people out there who uh, they they are focusing on, I think, the wrong things. I think that they're spending their time and I think wasting their time on things that just don't matter in the grand scheme of things. And it's unfortunate and it's too bad because what's going to happen is that one day you're going to wake up and you're going to say to yourself, what did I do? I, I listen to motivational speakers all the time, and one of them I was listening to recently said something about it's so much better to just do. If you have a good idea, just do it and just jump on it. Don't wait another few weeks to come up with a great idea. Just do the good idea right away. Don't try to sit there and try to make the perfect idea, because the good idea might be good enough for right now. And it has to do with acting on things rather than just speaking about things. And it's really walking the walk as opposed to talking the talk. We have a society that is filled with people who just, the only thing they do, they talk the talk, they cannot walk the walk at all. And it is a shame. It is absolutely truly a shame. It's amazing how people's mouths will do them in because of the things that they say. When I decided to take on this podcast, I understand that I become a public figure. I understand that I have to be very mindful of the types of things that I say. And I've been doing this long enough to know that there are certain things you can say and there's certain things that you can't say. And you're not going to see me going on to Twitter because I'm angry about something and putting some type of big vent on there. And there's so many people who do that. And I don't know why. I don't know what anyone is getting out of doing those types of things. I'll still never understand it at all. So so this is an interesting thing. So let's see what Charlize has to say. She says that since last year, I've had problems where I think about not being challenged in school, and it's hard because, not to sound cocky, but they're not at my level of thinking, and I want to know how to stay challenged in class. That's difficult. Charlize, I've been in that situation more times than I can count, more times than I can remember, and what I would say, this is difficult. If you're in a situation in which you are able, you do have some downtime in school, meaning you've completed your assignment, what you're going to have to do, you have one of two things you can do. One, you can straight up approach your teacher or teachers, ask those people and say, be blunt, say, I'm not being challenged enough. You're a straight A student, if you are, and I'm assuming you are, then say, I'm not being challenged enough. There's something more that you'd be able to give me. Is there something extra that I can do? And it's not so much that you're asking for extra credit in terms of, I just want to bring my grade up, but it's about learning. The whole reason you're in school, the whole reason that everybody goes to school is to learn, not for grades. Grades are idiotic. The absolute dumbest way to measure what a person is learning in school, because as I've said many times, I've taken classes before where I've gotten 100 and I haven't learned a thing. I've learned nothing, no growth of any kind. Yet I've had other classes where I've had grades that have been in the upper 80s, and I've learned a ton from the instructor. So grades are just, it's such an antiquated way of being able to measure what a person is learning. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like anybody's really come up with another way of being able to evaluate it. Our country in general is just predicated on numbers. I mean, if you get right down to it, what is worse than reading an article? I saw an article the other day. It was on CNN. Now, I personally do enjoy going on CNN and reading the things they have. I'm not a big fan of the fact that they're biased with certain things, but for the most part, I do enjoy a lot of things that they say. And it has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican, anything having to do with Trump. It has nothing to do with that at all. But there's one thing that CNN does that I cannot stand, and there are other news outlets and media sources that do this as well. They will put together an article and they'll say 57% of this, but last year 43% of the, and then 43% of that 57%, and your head is just spinning, and none of it is making any sense. You get to the point where everything is just, you're confused by even what you're reading. And it honestly doesn't make any sense. It is bull. It's a bunch of nonsense. And it seems like it's something that's being written because there's nothing else for them to write. They have nothing else better to do. That's why I've never been a fan of statistics. You won't see. Here's a statistic. I'll give you a statistic that I always keep in the back of my mind, because I know so many motivational speakers that say it, and I'll put this right here in the chat because I know this to be true. Absolutely 100%. Okay. So there we go. 87% of the people in the world are unhappy at their job or with what they are doing with their lives. 87%. And that's not just a recent poll of 1,000 people with a margin of 3% possible error. No, that is, there are too many studies that have been done. That's ridiculous. That means 9 out of 10 people. Think about 10 people that you know. 9 of them are completely unhappy with something going on in their life right now. And if they work, they're totally unhappy at their job. And I think about all the people I know, and it's accurate. It's absolutely accurate, because I have so many friends who are so downright miserable at their jobs. And I'm not just talking about teachers. I'm talking about people in general at their various professions. They just don't enjoy what they're doing. And it's too bad. It really is. But I can tell you one thing I wouldn't want to be doing is having to do statistics all day, because it is remarkable to me how people will make a big deal about somebody based on a number. It's really sad, is what it is. You look at something like, as a perfect example, if I love baseball, it's my favorite sport. I think about the salaries in baseball. You look at the statistics of some of these players, and you look at the money that they're looking to attain, and it's outrageous. I mean, there's a player who, if I said this player's name, if you didn't follow baseball, you wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup on your best day. I'm not talking about a baseball lineup. I'm talking about any type of lineup anywhere. You wouldn't be able to, if you saw him, you would never be able to put his name with his face. He's not a household name. And he just rejected a contract of over $200 million. The guy he's nothing special. He's not a great player by any standard. And why is he asking for that type of money? Because of these numbers that he's generated. He generated some of these numbers. So because of that, that's the reason why he should be paid that type of money. But I certainly don't think of greatness when I think of this player. I don't think of that. But we're going to you look at in sports, it's how fast someone is. It's how it's not just that your team wins the game. It's about how many points another player is scoring in a game. It's gotten to be completely and absolutely ridiculous. It's so bad that I was just talking with a friend earlier today about America's Got Talent. Do you know, if you were to pull up any of the years, 2019, 18, 17, you were to go backwards and you were to pull up a video, any video on YouTube, and you were to type in the finals, what the final results were, meaning the final performances and what the results were, I can almost guarantee you the number of views on those videos of the finalists, the people who won the competition, they won. They actually have scores. The videos have view counts far lower than the ones of the people who got the golden buzzers. I mean, are you kidding me? Now, it's great that they had that wonderful audition. It's one audition. And yes, I understand that it can change someone's life, but we've gotten to a point as a society that we're going to put someone in a special category because he or she had one great evening. That's sad. And that's where we're at as a society. Why? Because you have that one great evening and all of a sudden you're trending on Twitter. Really? That's where we're at. Trending on Twitter. Think about that. All right. Let's go back. Let's see what else we have here. Esther, but they make us worry and stress about our grades so much. Amen. So true. Watermelon duck. Grades at times seem as a way to tell someone's intelligence, which can be incredibly inaccurate. That's spot on. And here's the saddest thing, and this is what really bothers me a lot. I need to submit progress reports for my students by next week. Now, I have a lot of students. I mean, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of students I see throughout the course of a week that I'm going to submit progress reports. And I feel this need that instead of defining someone by a number, like Watermelon Duck says, I feel this need to put a progress report in there with real words to be able to say to that family, so-and-so is doing a great job for these reasons. Not just throwing out an 85 in music and letting everyone decipher what does that mean. What does it mean? What does it mean exactly? It means nothing. What does 100 mean? 100 means that you're perfect. You're not perfect. It means that you scored well on all of the material that was given to you at any given time. That means that other material could have been given to you, and you may have actually earned a 70 in that class. And here's the problem, is that the people, and this is something that is not going to sit well with some people, and I have no problem saying it. The people, it's even worse because the families of those students believe that if you have a 95 in a class, you're doing well. They don't know. They don't know. Now, if they've been following everything you've been doing and they've been looking at all of the work, which we know more often than not is not the case, because there are so many parents out there who do not parent, and there are so many parents out there who they'll blame a child for something, but they're not even actively involved in the child's life. So who's really to blame? Well, it's the parent. It's the parent's fault. That's your fault as a parent. You're not looking at what your child is doing. You're not helping them out at home. Hey, listen, listen, my friend. Okay. If you want your child to succeed, your child's not doing well. Well, who needs to step in? No, it's the school's fault all of a sudden. Wait a minute. You're the parent here. You're supposed to know best, right? Okay. So you dare get angry at your child if you can't do it yourself. If you can't do it yourself, you know what you got to do? Zip the lip. I would never in a million years, not in a million years, would I ever get upset with someone if they didn't understand something having to do with science, because I am clueless when it comes to science. I don't know anything about science at all. Never jump down someone's throat for not knowing something about science. Yet we see people constantly who will jump ugly about it. And it's even worse when you have a teacher who is the expert in that area and they get upset with the student about that. But that teacher maybe only specializes in that particular area, but the rest of their life is a gigantic void. It's a gigantic nothing because they have ceased to progress. They are no longer learning. They have just mastered content in a specific area. It's just tunnel vision, and that's it. And they have the blinders on, and they're not interested in anything else out there. And they are only capable of teaching biology. They're only able to give you information about World War II. It's sad. And there are a lot of people out there, and that's just in the teaching profession. We're not going to talk about other areas of life because people don't want to become lifelong learners. Let's see. Charlize, I also don't know what I want to do in my life. So many avenues have been open for me, and now it's hard to try and figure out completely what do I do. What I say is just take advantage of as many opportunities as possible and keep everything open. Keep every single door open and keep trying different things. I can't stress that enough. Do not close doors. That's Massive. Network, network, network. That means you don't burn bridges with people. It means that even people you don't like, try to at least remain civil, remain friendly with them, establish a rapport, get your personality involved. You may have to jump out of your comfort zone a little bit. Do that. Really, really important that you network, because you never know when you might be sitting across that person in a job interview 12 years from now. And it's happened before. It's happened to me before. Not necessarily a job interview thing, but running into people that I haven't seen in 20 years, and then you run into them. But the last interaction I had with them was positive, because I would like to believe that I'm somewhat of a likable person, and I have an idea of what I'm doing when it comes to music and comes to being a teacher. So people have some level of respect for me when I go to speak to them. So even if I haven't seen someone in a long time, uh, you need to make sure, Charlize, that you continue to try different things. And eventually there's going to be something that you're going to find that you're not good at, you're great at. And you grab that thing and you go with it. And it may or may not be the thing that you do for the rest of your life, but at least you have some sense of something you may be great at. I'm finding myself that uh, I'm excellent at other things besides being a musician and being a teacher. And the thing is that, well, I went to school to be a musician and be a teacher, so that means I'm not qualified to do anything else. Well, that's completely asinine. I mean, here I am doing something on Thursday nights that very, very few people do in the world. I am completely opening myself up. This is an outright open forum, and people are asking me questions, and I feel very, very comfortable answering them. And there are a lot of people in this world that could never, ever get behind the microphone and do that. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I've worked very, very hard to make that happen. And I think it's also that when I don't know the answer, I still know the answer, because I know what I need to say to my viewers and what I need to say to students, that if I don't know the answer, this is what you need to do. That's what a good teacher does. That's what a good mentor, that's what a good coach does. They steer the person in the right direction. I had a student last night who had a mental breakdown, total absolute meltdown. It was related to an audition. And what happened was the student actually did the audition already, but was having different forms of anxiety, but it was post audition anxiety. And person couldn't concentrate at all. And we just went off to the side. We talked for a while. And because I know that when people are anxious, it just helps to be able to distract them a bit and get their mind off of things and just talk about things that have nothing to do with the situation, and then go back into it. And the things that the student was talking about, I have no clue about those things related to the audition, but I was able to say some things to them and say, well, these are the people that you should probably talk to. These are places that you could go. These are sites you could check out online, or check out these YouTube videos. And I was able to just to give them that type of guidance, even though I didn't have the answers. And that's what the good teacher's able to provide. So keep your avenues open, Charlize. Can't stress it enough. Let's see. What else do we have here? Other types of things. Let's see. I don't want to choose a wrong thing. It makes me look indecisive. Not true. Totally and completely not true. The idea with life is you try different things, and if you don't like something, it does not make you indecisive. It actually makes you very decisive. You've decisively decided to, you said to yourself, I am going to do this, and you see if it works, it's going to work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, then you move on to the next thing. That is absolutely not being indecisive. Indecisive is someone who has 7 different things that they could pursue. They can't figure out which one they want to do, and they don't do any of them. That's being indecisive. That's not taking control of the situation and taking some type of action. Take action. If it's wrong, so be it. It's fine. You have your whole entire life to figure it out. Heaven knows that I am constantly trying different types of things. Right now, Charlize, I'll be happy to tell you off here. I'll be happy to speak with you one on one. I'll even share with you right now the things that I'm going through in terms of what is the next step going to be for me. I'm not going to be teaching forever. It's just the way that it is. I'm not going to be teaching until I'm going to be teaching in some way, but I'm not going to be teaching in a public school when I'm 80 years old. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I'll tell you why. The reason I'm not going to be teaching until that age is because in public education, with the way that the pension system is and things relating to retirement, what happens is, and this is life lesson right here, and it can happen in any other types of jobs, but I know this to be the case in education, where you're working, you eventually get to an age where, quite frankly, you are going to be, if you were to retire, you would make the same, maybe a little bit less, more likely more money in retirement than you would actually working. And I'm not talking about with a small salary either. I'm talking about with a sizable salary. You're pulling in, sizable in education. You're pulling in a salary of $80,000, $90,000. There, you get to a certain point, and it's different with every single person. The age might be 57. It could be 62. It could be 67. But you get to that age, and once you hit that age, you actually will probably start to lose money. Well, then that doesn't make any sense. What's the point of working then? Because what happens then is you now have entered that retirement phase. And here's what's cool is you retire from teaching, and you're still taking in that income. And now you have all this free time and you can do other things, which is what I'm trying to figure out right now, those things. And I'm not going to do what a lot of people do, which is unfortunate. They have no plan whatsoever. They have no financial plan. They have no life plan, where they retire and then they're sitting around. That's not me. It has never been me. And at the very least, if I have nothing to do, I'm going to travel. That's 100% for sure. And I will continue to tour the United States until I've seen every single crevice of this country. And then I'll start tackling the world. And I'm never going to get to see everything in the world, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try as best I can while I'm physically able to do so. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Okay, let's see if we have some other things here. Charlize is giving me a lot of information here. I'm looking for anyone else here, and I have no problem answering all these different things that Charlize is mentioning. I'm happy to do that for her, not a problem. But if anybody else has anything else that they want to say, because we are at the 1 hour point here of our episode, we're going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. And as always, hopefully this information has been helpful to you in one way or another. So, okay. So if we take, for instance, Charlize's things that she's just typed in here, I fear the thought of loneliness and not being able to relate to people because I don't have a boyfriend or I don't smoke, drink. How can I meet more people like me? Well, here's one thing I can tell you. I can tell you that you don't have to necessarily have all of those things and be happy in life. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't know. Was that supposed to be made for you to laugh? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, so I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a girlfriend either. Okay, I have no. I guess if we want to put it like like that. Okay, so a friend. Okay, so I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a lizard friend. I don't have a frog friend. I don't have an avocado friend. I know there's no significant other. There we go. That is it. Watermelon Duck has nailed it. There we go. There's no significant other. Okay, that's just me and this hair. What can I say? Hey, I got the new fade going on here tonight. That you'll see tomorrow. It's a little more extreme. This is what it is. Charlize, why? I don't know. Just way that it is. I'm single and ready to mingle. I guess that's maybe a way that you can put it. But am I unhappy? No, I'm perfectly, completely, totally content. I can tell you this much: I'm not going to settle for someone. I'm not going to have someone entering my life, and uh, and decide to start dictating how things are going to be with me. That's not going to happen. That's absolutely not going to happen. But smoking, drinking, what for? What exactly? Smoke so your breath can smell, and that you can risk getting various forms of cancer. And it's extremely costly. I'm trying to find what the benefits are. The benefit is what? That you're cool. Okay, there. Make myself a Tinder account. Thank you, Charlize. I sincerely appreciate that. I think I did Tinder. I must have been about, I don't even know how many years ago. It was one of those ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. You're like swiping this way, and then you're swiping this way, and you're swiping this way. Oh my goodness. What is it? What is our world coming to where we're just swiping back and forth? My goodness. Yeah, no. Tinder. I didn't even think that was a real thing. I thought it was like a joke or something. It sounded like I thought of timber, like a tree, wee, falling over. That's not the route you want to go, Mr. R. Alice, are you referring to Tinder? Please tell me if you're referring to Tinder. I know that if I were to go the route of Tinder, I'm pretty much that's thank you, Alice, for that. I really appreciate it. A sex type of app, not so much a dating app. Well, like I said, it's been so many years. It was just I'm just swiping. What is this? This is the reason why I don't do things like Snapchat and Instagram and all that other stuff and whatever. I don't understand. I'm writing my friend's birthday card right now. I just messed up. That is one of the greatest things I think I've ever read. And watermelon duck, I've done it before. It's the worst. Especially if you if you purchase the card. This is the worst. If you purchase the card, you actually paid money for a birthday card, and then you mess up in pen. It doesn't get any worse because how are you going to be able to defend it? What are you going to do? You're going to put white out on the card? It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to scratch something out? Oh, what did the person really mean to write? Oh man, that was just she's writing in pen. That is outstanding. Oh man, you just made me laugh. I needed that tonight. I really that is just nothing short of fantastic. That's great. Oh wow. Oh, I needed that laugh. That was really, really awesome. Okay. So, in terms of drinking, drinking is just completely overrated. The only drinking I do is I'll have wine from time to time. I've never really been much of a beer drinker. I don't really like the taste of beer, but if I do have some wine that I'll have from time to time. And then I just enjoy for dinner. Maybe I'll have a glass late at night, and that's very, very rare. What are you missing out on? What, you drink too much and then you wind up getting sick, and you lose all recollection of what you're doing and risk potentially blacking out and other awful things happening, people taking advantage of you. Not worth it. Not worth it. But I'll never understand. I've never understood people who make those decisions. That's for them to do. So I wrote some of the sum, and I didn't mean to write this. Oh, some of the sum. I thought she mistyped. She did not mistype. I wrote some of the sum, and I didn't mean to write the second sum. I'm saying to myself, like, Watermelon Duck was really losing it, but actually, she really did mean to write that. That's great. Yeah. So, yeah, but no, Watermelon Duck said it, and over drinking can lead to so many risky things. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. So, Esther talks about how, oh, but I can have Facebook. Well, and I have to tell you something. Facebook, that could be going by the wayside too, because I'm really not seeing much of a gain in Facebook. It has done a very limited amount in terms of my exposure for YouTube. The YouTube channel has been far, far more successful being able to reach people. My website's been very effective. Facebook, not so much. A lot of the forums on Facebook are really, really silly. They are people who are just venting, and they're just spewing their opinions on various things. The amount of whining, the amount of complaining and unproductivity that takes place on Facebook is off the charts. I mean, if I've seen one picture of someone's kids, I've seen 87,000 pictures. And you know what? It's nice to see a picture every once in a while, but I don't need to see pictures every single day of your child. That's just me. It's just me. Because then it becomes all about you. And there are people I know that, and it's sad, who are they're addicts. They can't get off of Facebook, and I don't know what that is exactly. I'm not really sure, but I can tell you this much. There are a lot of things that have happened on Facebook. It's just public knowledge, and it's really silly. Hey, have any of you seen this, by the way? I have seen these meme things that have popped up, and I have to ask my friends in the gallery, have any of you seen these memes before? Thank you. You are addicted to this channel. I appreciate that. Have any of you seen these memes before that say something like, if if you like this picture 100 times, then I'll go up and I'll punch your best friend in the face? Has anybody ever seen anything like that? Has anybody seen memes or things like that? I've seen some of these circulating around the internet. Have we actually seen? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You know, if you like this picture 500 times, I will put a banana in the tailpipe of your parents' car, so then it causes the entire car to stall. I mean, like, what is that? I don't get it. If you like this 1,000 times, then I will go up to the top of a building and I'll drop a rock on your skull. I mean, like, what is this? What, we're really there? That's where we're at. It's like we're going the wrong way. I have a shirt. It's inappropriate. I cannot put it up on here, but here, I'll just say it like this. It's the evolution of man shirts. If you've ever seen the evolution of man, the caveman all the way, and then it has a guy at the end, and he has a stop sign. I have the shirt. I just unfortunately can't wear it in public, but he says stop, and then he says we blank blank everything. And then you can figure out what the blanks may possibly be. We blank blank everything. So yeah, it's just totally and completely crazy. Yes, Alice, it must be someone who has mental issues. Here's what I know. I just know that I am getting a good laugh out of the things that have happened here in the last 12 minutes. And for that, I do have to thank you very much. And I have to take my non-alcoholic swig. Yes, Charlize. Yes, you did get it correct. Thank you very much. And yes, we will use we'll do it this way. Put it this way. There, we'll do it like that. Okay, there are the words, and then you can figure out what those words. We blank blank everything. Okay, that's what. But it's a great evolution of humankind shirt, as twere. Hey, by the way, did you hit the like button yet? There's a whole slew of you in here, but it doesn't look like you really like this episode too much. So if you can take care of that for me, cheers. All right, so we have something about a VSCOS girl. What is a VSCO? What is that? I don't understand what that is. Get a little ear itch here. VSCO, I don't know what that is supposed to be. VSCO girl will never leave you alone about straws. It's a girl who says, save the turtles. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. There must be something in here. I don't know. I don't know what I'm reading at the moment. It's like I've entered bizarro world, because the people who are in this chat right now have an IQ like off the charts. So yes, some very, very interesting thing. Thank you, Mabel. Mabel, I think I'm going to have to show that one. There we go. Thank you very much. Google it. Because straws kill turtles. I didn't know that. It seems like a Jeopardy fact It seems like something that would only be interested in SK. Who says SKSK? It takes a lot to confuse me. It really does. I don't know what is being said right now. Who says SKSK? What is that? Is that what they're supposed to be? I know I've been banned by Alice. I'm not allowed to do any eating into the microphone. I know that because if I do any type of eating in the microphone, Alice gets very, very angry. So now Esther is doing it. I don't know what's going on here. What are you people doing with your free time? Is this happening? How do you even know all this stuff? Like I said, that video I just happened to come across uh about 1 million, if you like this video 1 million times, then I'll burn an ant with a magnifying glass using the sun. I don't get it. I'm not really sure. Who has metal straws? I don't. Oh boy. Now I right now I'm running a podcast episode right now. I'm not able to Google a VSCO girl. Okay, they've metal straws. Okay, well, I thank you. I sincerely appreciate it. I will tell you something just on a complete side note. It's just something to think about, something to consider. And it was an observation that I made about someone recently. It's completely off topic, or maybe it has something to do with the straws. I don't know. I don't know if these straws are part of their body. I have no idea. But um, uh, I me personally, I think that piercings and I think that tattoos are awesome. I've always felt that way, which is ironic because I don't have any. I have no piercings. I have no tattoos. I think that they are just the absolute coolest thing. I think I love running into people and seeing tattoos on them because I know that sometimes people can categorize people a certain type of way and say a certain type of thing about someone and start to judge. But what I would say is that you need to definitely be careful, especially when it comes to piercings in on just parts of your face in terms of wanting to pursue any type of job, and it's very, very unfortunate. I don't have any problems with it, with somebody having a nose ring or a lip piercing or anything like that. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people in society it doesn't do well. And my strongest recommendation, if you've thought about going that route or you do have some type of piercings, when it comes time, you're going to go out for that type of interview. At the very, very least, I would remove it. And I know that there are people out there who will say, well, well, that's me. This defines me. Well, that's fine if it defines you, but you know what? If it's the difference between you getting the job or not getting the job, take it out. Okay. So, yeah. And what Alice said, I know that to be true. You may know that to be true. I think a lot of people know that to be true. I think there are a lot of other people in this world who, even people who are not conservative, people who are liberal, but they're still conservative, who will prematurely judge somebody because they have tattoos. So just something to think about here. I don't know what happened with this conversation. We always have incredible conversations in here, but everything, we went from not wanting to drink and then and everything was all fine with this card, which made me laugh very hard. And the next thing we know, we wound up with turtles and straws and this VSCO. I'm not really sure what happened. I'm going to hope that that this is just something that is a passing phase and it never happens again, because I'm disturbed, I think is what the word is. I think the word is disturbed. So it is time. We have come to the end of this fine episode. It's been a pleasure, as always, talking with all of you. And it is time to award a $15 Amazon gift card. We have a limited audience tonight, which I expected. I had a lot of people who checked in with me and said that they wish they could be here, but they had a lot of different commitments. One of the big things that played a role this week, we did have the Jewish holiday Rosh Hashanah, which occurred earlier this week, and I can attest to the amount of traffic on the road over the last few days. A lot of people were off work Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday came around, and holy moly. So, but again, just a reminder for anyone who would like to reach out to me at any reason, as I said earlier on in the podcast. So it's the email address, of course, is gettingitdonepodcast@gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. We'll get the drum rolls going in just a minute. I see the S's, the SS, whatever that is. Okay, still not sure and a little bit disturbed. We, of course, have another way you can reach out to me, which would, of course, be gettingitdone.us. Okay, so if you go to www.gettingitdone.us, that's another terrific way of being able to reach out to me. And that's where we're pretty much at tonight. So please, Charlize, certainly reach out to me and so I can get that gift card taken care of for you. And we need to get some drum rolls going on here. If we can get actually drum rolls, and I don't know, these S's and these K's just don't work. I see that we have gotten them from Charlize. She's taking care of them. Watermelon Duck is completely and totally out of control with those things there. So at this time, I will, guys, you're all nuts. You're all completely crazy. I'm going to have you all committed tonight. Hopefully you are enjoying this. I don't know what I'm even going to say this. Here we go with a drum roll and our winner of a $15 Amazon gift card for tonight. And Mabel. Mabel is our winner. Congratulations to Mabel for winning your $15 Amazon gift card. That was definitely awkward. Never done that before. We had to do that slight little pause, make kind of wonder who's going to be winning it. But congratulations to Mabel for winning that $15 fine Amazon gift card. And if you could contact me, I'll be happy to deposit that in your direction. So at this time, I have to bid all of you adieu. We are approaching the second week of October. Next week, have some different types of ideas for some episodes. As always, I am looking for any types of ideas that you have for episodes. And the kitchen episode, as I think I told you, I am still working on the webcams that are going to be associated with that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yes, the cooking, we are well aware. For Halloween evening, have not figured out what I'm doing yet. Yes, Halloween is going to be falling on the same evening as the Getting It Done episode. So at any rate, it has been an amazing and complete and total pleasure speaking with all of you tonight. I hope you got a lot out of the episode. And as always, there's just one last thing that I just have to say. Peace.